thing. Explain to me why Jews would suddenly start honouring Sunday as a special day.
Because they led astray. They're led astray.
What led them astray?
What Jews are we talking about?
Talking about the first Christians.
Who are?
Jews.
They're not the disciples.
The apostles.
The apostles who? Like who?
Matthew, Mark, Peter, these people.
These are apostles?
Yes.
Luke.
I can give you the full list if you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
fine, I'll give you the full list.
It's not necessary, but...
No, it seems that you want the full list, so let me give you the full list.
The Quran, you know what the Quran meant? He said something very profound in the Quran.
Yeah.
Is when the Jewish people, they put Jesus on the cross, they wanted to make sure that he died and killed, so he's cursed.
Yeah.
Because at that time, if anyone put him on the cross, he's cursed. So what the Quran saying, defending Jesus and saying, Jesus, they did not succeed in crucifying him because Jesus is not cursed. That's what does it mean?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's only appeared to them that by putting Jesus on the cross that he is cursed, but he's not. Then God said, I'm taking you to me. So now we believe that, that Jesus is with God.
You haven't answered my question.
For me, the question is, because when we talk about these things, for me, it goes back to, are the Gospels reliable?
No, the proclamation of the resurrection is before the Gospels.
Yes, but the account is in the Gospels.
No, the proclamation, everyone agrees, everyone who's a scholar of this topic agrees that the resurrection was proclaimed before the Gospels were written. So your argument about
the Old Testament,
your argument that can we trust the Gospels is actually irrelevant, because the resurrection was proclaimed before the Gospels. Paul wrote before the Gospels, and he talks about the resurrection.
Oh, so you're referring to Paul?
No. Paul wrote to churches that believed in the resurrection even before he wrote to them, like Romans. So the point is, all the historical evidence demonstrates that the resurrection occurred before anyone wrote about it. That the belief in the resurrection occurred before anyone wrote about it. So your argument, whilst it is an important question, is not actually relevant to this discussion.
Well, if we're gonna take the account from the New Testament in general, Paul and the Gospels as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask the question: are they reliable? Because to me, if say there was a belief before the Gospels were written, but I cannot trust the Gospels, then I'm not gonna trust what the Gospels tell me.
So I'm just going to say, until you actually address my question, I don't need to address your question. So the question that I asked you, and I ask you again, what makes Jews in the first century suddenly start venerating Sunday as an important day? Like, let's test your knowledge of Judaism. What day is important in Judaism?
I don't have Judaism knowledge.
Saturday.
Yeah, not Sunday.
Not Sunday. What is Sunday to a Jew?
I'm not sure.
First day of the week. It's a working day.
Yeah.
It's not important. So why do we see evidence that Christians started treating Sunday as a special day? What could have happened to make them start treating Sunday like a special day?
Because of Jesus, you mean? Resurrection?
Exactly. Something happened that made them transform their thinking and go, great, we've got the Sabbath, but we also have the Lord's Day, and the Lord's Day is the day that Christ rose from the dead.
So why they take a day off on Saturday? Is because God in the Old Testament told them to take the day
Yes,
off
Jews,
on Saturday,
the first Jewish Christians were Jews, and so they honoured the Saturday as a Sabbath.
I see. But the day rest for you on Sunday, and the day rest for us is on Friday.
But that's irrelevant to the point I've just made. All you've done is throw out some facts. The point that I've just made is that Jews in the first century inexplicably start revering Sunday as a special day. Why? Well, the Gospels give an answer. Christ rose on the first day of the week. That's the Lord's Day. Now, I want you to explain to me, if the Quran is right, that Jesus wasn't crucified and someone else was crucified in his place, which means there was no resurrection, why did Jews in the first century start honouring Sunday as a special day?
Because they believed maybe that...
Believe what?
Believe that what someone else said that they saw Jesus?
No, the first Christians believed that they saw Jesus, not that someone else told them that they saw Jesus.
Were they Jews?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I cannot answer that question. You're asking me something that I don't have an answer for.
I think the Jews, they should believe now that Jesus was on the cross,
Yeah.
there is 2,400,000,000 Christians believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
So why don't they believe?
So let me present this counterfactual to you.
Yep.
There's a number of historical events that are not disputed by historians. If the Quranic claim is true, Muslims, as you have demonstrated, have no explanation for these historical facts. Ergo,
But what he said is not from the
ergo, the Quran is false, and it is a lie, it is not true. Now we've destroyed your position, let's talk about yours.
point of view. Yeah.
Right, so you explain to me the point he could not explain. Why did Christians start venerating the Sunday as a special day?
Why did the Christians start venerating?
The Sunday as a special day?
I think it's because of Jesus was on the cross, yes.
No.
The crucifixion.
But, well, they venerated Friday as a special day.
Ah, you mean day
Yes,
Sunday?
Sunday. Why did first century Jews proclaim Sunday as a special day? What Jewish reason is there?
I told you what I think, but I'm not sure. I haven't read.
Sorry, I missed your answer. What's your answer again?
The answer was, I said, is because of Jesus was on the cross.
Jesus, but he
on Friday.
right on the Friday. So that means if they were doing it because Jesus hung on a cross on a Friday, they'd venerate the Friday. But they didn't. They venerated the Sunday. If they're venerating the Sunday, they're doing that for a reason, and there's no Jewish reason to venerate a Sunday. That's the first day of the week. It's a working day of the week. That means that something happened that made them think Sunday was important. I have an answer to that question. It's called the resurrection. What Quranic answer do you have?
But the resurrection.
What Quranic answer do you have?
I have told you already what God said.
Go on, show me in the Quran where it says Jesus rose from the dead.
All I know that God in the Quran said that well, let me just check it quickly.
Yeah. So while these guys find their passage, I'm just going to go over.
I'm purifying you now.
You show me the passage. I'm just going to read the 12 facts that the Quranic story can't account for. Fact 1, Jesus died by crucifixion. Fact 2, Jesus was buried in a tomb. Fact 3, disciples despaired and felt hopeless. Fact 4, the tomb was empty a few days later. Fact 5, disciples believe they experienced the literal appearance of a risen Jesus Christ. Fact 6, the disciples were transformed by that experience. Fact 7, that Jesus' resurrection was the central message of the early church. Fact 8, Jesus was proclaimed as resurrected in the city in which Jesus was killed, Jerusalem. Fact 9, as a result of their preaching, the church was born and it grew. Fact 10, this is the one that they can't answer. Okay. Amongst the others they can't answer. Okay. Sunday became the primary day of Christian worship. Fact 11, James, who was skeptical of Jesus Christ, became a follower of Jesus Christ. Yeah. Fact 12, Paul, who was a persecutor of the church, became a follower of Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ was not crucified and did not rise from the dead, as Muslims claim, then these facts of history should never have happened. But the fact is, every historian worth his salt agrees that these facts did happen. And if they did happen, then Muslims, according to their Quran, have no answer as to why. Go on.
After the crucifixion, God said, "Oh Isa, I'm putting you now like to sleep, or I'm taking you to me, and I'm purifying you for what they have done to you, because they put him on the cross.
Yep.
They wanted to make sure, they wanted him to be cursed.
Yep.
So I'm purifying you from that, and then I'm making those people who follow you superior on other until the day of judgment."
Right.
That's what God said.
Okay. So his quote, can I just get the passage so I can go to it as well?
Yeah.
That's 355.
355. Because
54. Yeah.
354. Because the thing is, the problems have just got worse for my Muslim interlocutors.
Worse?
Worse.
Okay, why?
Not better.
Why?
Right. 354.
Can you check it in English? Because I
Wait,
have it in Arabic, so
Surah 354?
yeah.
That's not what you've just said. I've got it here. It doesn't say that.
55.
55. Okay, here we go. 55. Sorry, yes, you're quite right. So let's just go through what the Quranic story is about what happened 2,000 years ago. But now we're going to assume he's right about what the Quran says and not him. Because these Muslims don't agree with themselves about what their own Quran teaches, and they only have conjecture between them. Right?
Yes, but also
So wait. Listen, bro, listen. And they all agree. They all agree with Christ was crucified and they rose from the dead. All of them agree. All of them. All of them agree. All of them agree. So, because he's just made his problems worse. Let's listen to what the Quran says. Behold, Allah said, O Jesus, I will take thee to myself and raise thee to myself and clear thee of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme. Now notice, they've just associated blasphemy with speaking about Jesus. That's a subtle example of where the Quran borrowed from stories it didn't understand, because you can't blaspheme against someone who's a man. But they're saying they blasphemed against Jesus, showing that the Muslim authors of the Quran were borrowing stories they didn't understand. It goes on. I will make those who follow thee, Christos Anesti. I will make those who follow thee to those who I will make those who follow thee superior to those who reject faith.
From now on.
Just think, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000 years ago, if this work of fiction is true, then that means the Almighty God Allah promised to the Muslim followers of Jesus that they would be superior over all of their opponents. But what do we see in history? We see that the Christianity that I believe in, that every Muslim in this park rejects, was the victorious Christianity, was the superior Christianity, which means that my Christianity, not their Quranic fiction, was the one that won the battle of history, which means that Allah failed in his promises, because Allah says he's going to make them superior to their enemies, and he failed to do so. Furthermore, I'm responding to him.
Sir, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Where is this? Where in this passage? Where in this passage does it say that Allah raised him from the dead? I didn't see it.
It's not in this passage.
So that's what I asked you. I asked you to show me in the Quran where it says Allah was raised from the dead.
It doesn't show in the Quran.
It does not show in the
That's all we
Quran.
can see here, that he's after the crucifixion, he took him.
Speak more loudly, sorry. Yeah.
Well, you made 2 points that I need to come back to, which are the first one, that the promise that Allah made to the followers, to Jesus, but his followers, that he's gonna
making those people who follow you now from now on superior another because of the miracle of the
but basically
because this is a big miracle.
Above is understood in two ways. The first one is in the hereafter, and the other one is
in this world.
And basically, in the group of Christians in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, the prevalent ones were your kind of Christianity, which means he understood that the followers of Jesus were not above in that sense. So that means that the intended meaning is the one which is the other one, which is above in rank in the hereafter.
So my point is, and I'm not getting. Sorry, you want to do batteries? For the sake of the argument, I'm not even going to dispute what he said.
Okay.
Because it does not address the problem that I am presenting.
What?
The problem that I am presenting, that these two have completely been confounded by and have zero response to, is that there are 12 indisputable facts of history that if the Quran was true, the Quran doesn't give any answer for. 12 facts of history that the answer that Christians give does account for, that Christ had risen from the dead. What are these facts? That Christ was crucified, he was buried, the tomb was found empty, the apostles despaired at his death, They were transformed by his resurrectional experiences. They believed that these resurrectional experiences were true. They moved the day of important ceremony to a Sunday. The central message of their proclamation was that Christ had risen from the dead, that opponents to the Christian faith who had persecuted the church had become Christians, that skeptics of Jesus had become Christians, and that the church grew because of the proclamation that Jesus had risen from the dead and was born because of that proclamation.
Yeah, but all this based on the history.
Yes, correct.
In the Bible,
it's based on history.
And written in the Bible.
Yes, and
but
so the
God
Quran
word.
is fiction.
No, my friend. This is not God word in the Bible. Is this the God word?
Yes, it's God's words in the Bible.
No, this is John.
Yes, everything that I have just said is God's word in the Bible.
Show it to me again.
Right.
Show me this one, that's God himself, the one talking in the Bible.
So which one do you
Because
want me
God
to...
doesn't have to explain in such a way everything
Yes.
in the Quran. He pointed out a few things and then that's it.
All
and
of-
the same in the Bible.
all of the
God doesn't
points.
have to explain everything.
All of the points.
The difference between the Bible and the Quran is only God's word. That's what we believe, preserved. Yeah. Now, if you want to look at the history and more details and explanation, then we go through history. So the Bible is mixed between God's word and John, Luke's, and other people.
No.
So that's what we believe.
No. That's what you
How many
believe.
percentage?
But we don't believe that.
All right, how many percentage of God's words in the Bible? Can you
100%.
tell me? Yeah, but this is not God's word himself talking.
Yeah, we
I
have
can
a
see
different-
There is highlighted already.
So-
lots of sentences highlighted in the Bible, which means
One-
there is
one
God's
second.
word highlighted in red, and Jesus' word highlighted.
Let's be
The
clear.
rest of them are not.
Let's be clear.
God's words.
You've
That's the difference.
heard my argument. There are historical facts that the Quran has no explanation for.
doesn't have to explain
And if the
everything.
Quran was true, those historical facts would not have happened. If the resurrection did not happen, the central message of the church would not be that the resurrection happened. If the resurrection did not happen, then Sunday would not have been honored as a holy day. If the resurrection did not happen, then Christians would not have, the first Christians would not have had an experience of a literal risen Jesus. The Quran states that the crucifixion and resurrection did not happen.
No, he didn't.
And therefore,
Quran did not say it.
Muslims have no answer as to these historical facts, but we Christians do, and better. We Christians do because of first century evidence. Muslims have a 7th century fiction, and as you have just seen,
The Quran is for
Muslims
He doesn't have to
are,
explain
they have no answers at all.
everything about Jesus. Yeah,
I don't think
have
these
to
are
explain
facts,
everything
bro.
about Jesus.
So dispute them historically.
No.
It's like you asking me.
I'm not gonna, because I'm not an expert. You picked the topic, but I told you since the beginning. If I don't have an answer for these things.
You don't have an answer, and he doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, but I'm no expert. This is not.
Are you even paying attention?
This is.
You're like, have you been stood here for like 20 minutes and you are still clueless about what we're talking about?
This is-
You've got to listen, bro.
I really, because this is not an area where I'm really educated. So I told you at the beginning, I don't have an answer for these questions. But we kept going on and on. But I don't have answers for these questions. So you don't have to keep saying I don't have an answer for these
So
questions.
which Muslim do you think has an answer to these questions? I'll go talk to him.
I don't know. I haven't seen who's here today.
Because I guarantee that no Muslim has a Quranic answer to this problem.
They don't have to.
They don't have one. And they don't have one, but it is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why it is a problem is because these are historical realities. And they're historical realities that if the Quran were true, these historical realities would never have happened. But they did happen. And because they did happen, that means the Quran has a historical problem that disproves the Quran. And it is evidence to the truth of the Christian faith.
Perfect. All right, folks, let's land the plane. So here's what we explored today. The undeniable historical fact that first century Christians, and I'm talking right from the jump, those who actually walked with Jesus or knew people who did, began gathering on Sundays, not the traditional Jewish Sabbath of Saturday. Why? Because they believed something radical happened on that Sunday, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That was the moment that changed everything. It wasn't just a memorial or a tradition. It was a reaction to a real event. Now here's the twist. If you flip over to the Qur'an, it denies the crucifixion altogether. Surah 4, 157. They did not kill him, nor did they crucify him. Okay, then riddle me this. If there was no crucifixion, no resurrection, no empty tomb, then why on earth did Jews suddenly start worshipping on a Sunday, the very day Jesus was said to have risen? You can't just chalk it up to Roman influence or Constantine. We're talking about decades before that, as early as the Book of Acts, and backed by extra-biblical sources like Pliny the Younger and Ignatius of Antioch, writing before 110 AD, saying Christians gathered on the Lord's Day, Sunday. The Quran, written 600 years later, gives zero explanation for this seismic shift in early Jewish Christian life. If Jesus wasn't crucified and didn't rise, then what sparked that movement? Why did Jewish followers of Jesus, monotheistic, Torah-following Jews, suddenly start breaking the mold and worshipping on a new day? The Quran is silent. History isn't. So we're left with two options. Either the early Christians were wildly mistaken, all of them, all at once, and somehow all agreed to change their worship day based on a myth, or something so powerful happened that it forced them to rethink everything they thought they knew. And until the Quran or its defenders can explain that, well, the silence speaks louder than the claims. Thanks for sticking with me. If you liked this video, drop a like, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed for more content like this. This isn't just history, it's a conversation that matters. See you in the next one. Peace out.